Welcome to A Magical Life, Health, Wealth and Weight Loss. I'm your host, Magic BARCLAY, lead practitioner at Holistic Natural Health Australia and #1 best-selling author. In this podcast, I aim to give you practical tips on how to accelerate and sustain your health, increase your financial, spiritual and emotional wealth, and to look at something that haunts many of us needlessly, weight loss. In some episodes, I'll have guests available to give you even more tips, but in others, the floor is yours. Drop us a line at A Magical Life Podcast on Facebook and let me know what you would like to know more about. Now, sit back and enjoy, because it is time for you to create and truly discover a magical life. Welcome back to A Magical Life. I'm your host, Magic BARCLAY, and today I'm answering another listener question: how do I find joy? What I find in life, listeners, is no matter how much is going right in your life, if you do not have true joy, that true singing in your heart, the feeling great within yourself, everything else can seem dry and it can seem draining. You really do need to find something that creates joy for you. Now, my son and I do wildlife rescue. I wouldn't say it's a joyful thing to do. There is a lot of heartbreak. You're seeing a lot of death and destruction. But we take joy from the fact that when we pull an animal off the road, it's not being disrespected. We lay it to rest peacefully and in harmony and in a nice place. That gives us some semblance of relief, not joy, relief. In a whole year of wildlife rescue, we might find one live baby that can go into care that's lost its mum on the road. And that is true joy for both of us, my son and I, when we look into the eyes of a joey or a chick, whatever the animal is that we now know has another chance at life. That is true joy. That makes both our hearts sing. I love gardening. I find true joy in seeing bees come to the flowers on the plants that I've put in my garden. I appreciate that they're there because I've put the hard work in, and I can appreciate what they're going to do in their lives: pollinate other flowers, help build and sustain nature. That gives me true joy. Now, for everyone, joy is different, but it's what makes your heart truly sing. It's what gives you that warm glow inside you. So my question to you is, what gives you joy? And when you find what gives you true joy, you'll find how you can create opportunities for that. So back to the listener question: how do I find joy? Well, the first step is identify what lifts you up, what gives you that warm feeling from inside your heart. Because for everyone, that's going to be different. The second thing is make time for happiness. Make time for true joy. If you don't create time each week to be happy, you will not be happy. Back in episode 62, a listener asked, how do I make time for me? And then I said, schedule it. Make sure that you've got it in a routine. There's a lot of different ways to do that. The same goes with finding your joy. When you know what makes your heart sing, you need to make sure it happens. Now, on the flip side here, some people find that they have quite joyless lives. So how do they find joy? Well, my suggestion would be go and experience things. Experience new people around you. experience new situations, new places, new actions, new thoughts. And when something is truly building joy within you and making your soul happy, which is what joy is, it's your soul being happy, you will know, because you will feel it on every level. You will feel it. So there's some tips I have for how do you find joy. Our guest speaker in episode 65 is Ella Hall, and she's talking about the power of pleasure. And when you hear Ella talk, you know that what she's doing, she has found true joy in. And certainly throughout this podcast, many of our guests, you can hear that they have true joy in what they're talking about. So I urge you all, if you haven't listened to all the previous episodes, please go back and listen to them. It might just give you ideas on how you can find true joy for yourself. That was episode 64, our listener question, how do I find joy? Again, in episode 65, we speak to Ella Hall. And in future episodes, if there is a speaker that you would like to hear from, please send us a message to the Facebook page, www.facebook.com/magicallifepodcast. If you have a suggestion for a speaker, if you are a speaker, an author, a teacher, a creator, we would love to speak to you. If you have a listener question, pop it along on that Facebook page and we will find some answers for you, our thoughts and perceptions on your question. For now, listeners, go forth and create your magical life. Thanks for listening today. Please subscribe to hear future episodes, leave a review and share this podcast. You can follow us on Facebook at A Magical Life Podcast or at Holistic Natural Health Australia. That's holistic with a W. You can find us on Instagram at Holistic Natural Health or at www.holisticnaturalhealth.com.au. That's where you'll access all sorts of articles, freebies and more.